The Galactic Federation had held the upper hand. Their bioweapons were masterpieces of destruction, elegant spores engineered to unravel entire ecosystems with surgical precision. Toxic compounds that dissolved carbon-based, life like acid on paper. And at the pinnacle of their arsenal, the death bloom, a hauntingly beautiful purple flower, whose pollen brought instant respiratory collapse to every known species. Admiral Thexar watched the human colony on Kepler 442b. Through his view screen, nostril slits flaring with grim satisfaction. "Deploy the death bloom bombardment," he commanded, voice cold and final. "Let us end this swiftly." Thousands of pods cascaded from orbit, shattering open to release clouds of lethal pollen. The death blooms rooted themselves instantly, spreading like wildfire through the colony's agricultural heartland. Within hours, the valley was transformed into a shimmering sea of violet. Beautiful, deadly, unstoppable. "Status, Admiral?" Thexar's voice cut through the tense silence. His tactical officer's reply was laced with confusion. "The humans, they're not dying." On the ground, Marine Sergeant Maria Rodriguez stood amid the death bloom field, her squad clustered, close. The flowers were undeniably stunning, their pollen tickling her nose, but beyond a sneeze, nothing more. "Command, this is Rodriguez," she radioed. "Aliens dropped some purple flowers on us. Request permission to investigate." "Granted. Exercise extreme caution," came the reply. Rodriguez plucked a death bloom, inhaling its spicy, almost aromatic scent. It reminded her of saffron, something her grandmother would have called fragrant. "Hey, Chun," she called to the squad's resident foodie, "what do you make of this?" Private Chun, who had somehow smuggled a camping cook set into a war zone, took the flower and breathed it in deeply. "Smells edible, good even. The pollen's got a kick." He pulled out his field scanner, running a quick toxicity test calibrated for human consumption. "It's safe, high in vitamins, actually." "You're not seriously thinking," Rodriguez began, but Chun was already firing up his portable stove. He sautéed the death bloom petals in a military-issue butter substitute and took a tentative bite. His eyes lit up. "Sarge, this is incredible. Like if jalapenos and lavender had a baby. The pollen's an amazing spice." Within the hour, the entire colony was harvesting death blooms. Someone discovered the roots were like potatoes, but naturally seasoned. The dried stems, ground into powder, brewed a coffee substitute that sharpened the mind without the jitters. From orbit, the Gothi watched in horror as their ultimate weapon became humanity's newest cash crop. "They're eating it," Thexar whispered, disbelief thick in his voice. "They're putting it on something called pizza." It only got worse. The humans sent a transmission to the Gothi fleet. Not a surrender, not a plea for mercy, but a business proposal. "Hey, alien friends," the colonial governor announced with cheerful defiance. "This death bloom stuff is fantastic. We want exclusive cultivation rights. We're already working on fusion cuisine. Death bloom tacos are testing through the roof. We'll cut you in for 30% of profits if you share optimal growing conditions." Desperation drove Thexar to unleash their other bioweapons. The nerve-rot fungus, which had wiped out the Deltrans, was fermented into something humans called space cheese. The toxic screamers, carnivorous vines that ended the Zephoid Empire, were harvested for naturally spicy spaghetti. The breaking point came when the Gothi deployed their final weapon, the extinction catalyst, a bacterial agent that had never failed to wipe out a species within days. 3 weeks later, a new transmission arrived. From a human entrepreneur named Bobby, hailing from Texas. "Y'all, this bacteria is revolutionary. Mixed with our gut biome, it helps digest complex proteins. We're solving galaxy-wide food shortages here. My company, Bobby's Belly Buddies, is going public next month. Initial investment opportunities available." The Gothi medical officer scanned the human biological data in stunned silence. "Admiral, their digestive systems. They harbor 37 different bacteria strains that would kill us instantly. They drink poison, alcohol they call it, for recreation. They consume capsaicin for pleasure. Their immune systems use our bioweapons as probiotics." Thexar, slumped in his command chair, watching humans on the planet below host what they called a death bloom food festival. Children wove crowns from the deadly flowers. Someone had brewed beer from the nerve-rot fungus. "Send the surrender terms," he said quietly. "Sir?" His tactical officer hesitated. "We can't fight them." "Exactly," Thexar replied. "Any species that looks at our worst weapons and asks, 'Is this edible?' is too dangerous to engage. They don't just survive. They'll franchise our doom and sell it back to us with a side of fries." The war ended not with a bang or a whimper, but with a cookbook. 101 Alien Bioweapon Recipes by Chef Chun, foreword by Sergeant Rodriguez, available across the galaxy. The Galactic Confederation's only condition for peace: never ever invite humans to dinner.